Good morning. I'm Patrick.
And I'm Padre.
And today we're going to be covering Atomic Masses Games' new forum that they just released this week. It's got the latest latest questions and rules for Legion, for X-Wing, and then also Crisis Protocol. I mean, right out of the gate, me and Robert are both impressed, as we were just talking about. You were talking about how now you can see pictures, faces. You know who's answering your questions.
Yeah, I mean, it's all laid out right there. I mean, a quick one. Where it says ship pilotability and action failure. That grabs your attention. You know that's the question. You look slightly to the right, and you see Chris M. has already responded to it, and he's responded 16 hours ago. So, I mean, it's very clean. I like it. It's very clean.
Yeah, you have a straight shot to, to the top rule or judges. Basically, you got D. Yoon and you have Chris M. But they say that they're in complete communicado with the developers from Atomic Mass Games. I'm told this is how they like to do it. So they like to pick people in the community and they say, please be our voice to the community and, spread our gospel, basically, as it is. So we've already seen a lot of good things happening here. A lot of gut reactions as well, not because of the forums themselves, but because this also came with some errata, some rules updates, and I mean some pretty interesting things. So we're going to go into first the rules reference corrections here.
Which I'm just doing right now by clicking the button.
Yeah, exactly. So this thread contains official. This is it. This is the top dogs. Corrections to the current versions of the Star Wars X-Wing rules reference. These corrections supersede. They literally supersede the authority of the rules reference. These corrections will be deleted whenever the rules reference is updated. The rules reference can be found there. And yeah, wow. That's pretty...
There's no mistaking what this is.
No, there is no other way to see this. So, I mean, we're going to talk about each one individually because these are, they updated them. There are posts right there from Chris M. This in the first one is pretty interesting because from what I could tell, there wasn't anything saying that when you tried to perform a red maneuver and you already had a stress, you just performed a 2 straight. You didn't actually get a stress when you did that. So then that would mean you're double stressed because now it reads, if a player forgets to set a maneuver dial for a ship during the planning phase, during its activation, the ship gains a stress, then performs a stress maneuver, which is a 2 white straight. So pretty severe now if you forget to set a dial. Personally, I know I've forgotten to set a dial for a ship. I've even known some friends that forgot a ship on the other side of the board and never moved it the entire game. Yeah, exactly. It's going to be very interesting.
So my question is,
yep.
The first turn, I do a 1 straight.
Mm-hmm.
My ship performs a 1 straight. We go shooty or whatever. Nothing happens. We go back to set our dials to start turn 2.
Mm-hmm.
I turn my dial over. I didn't touch it other than to turn it over. Next turn, I flip it over. It's a 1 straight.
Mm-hmm.
Did I set my dial?
So they kind of do address that in a very weird way that I saw. I mean, not directly, but just from what I read, because I mean, we're gonna go to the very next one. So, okay. And this one I had to read several times, and of course, it's always. I'm talking about the next post that he did for Ion.
Okay.
So, this one I had to read several times until I realized you have to read even further down in the other corrections to understand what the heck this thing's talking about. Secretly set. So right out of the gate, secretly, what, like, all nifty, all like shifty and like creepily set a dial off to the side because it says.
Yeah, I'm like, here, wait, I got to turn around. Yeah. Oh, okay.
If you notice, I had the dial in my pocket the whole time, but it says secretly set a maneuver on a ship's dial and place the dial face down on the ship's card. This is during the fact that you're ionized, but
Right.
it's still a sentence that you need to keep in your mind. Like, there are going to be times to where you're secretly going to have to set a dial. And this will, basically dictate how you would handle that situation. But let's say your ship is ionized. While it has a number of ion tokens relative to its size, at least 1 for a small ship, 2 for medium, 3 for large, 6 for epic if you do play epic. And ion tokens are red tokens. They clearly state that. During the planning phase, an ion ship does not assign a dial. But henceforth, you secretly have to put a dial on your ship and make sure that it's set to a maneuver just in case all of a sudden that ion token is not there, because you could end up executing a maneuver. And so, I mean, that goes back to the first part, because we'll get down further, don't worry. If you forget to do that, secretly forget to set your dial, you then will perform a 2 white straight and become stressed. Now, the only reason this is important is because if a ship that was ionized during the planning phase is no longer ionized at the beginning of its activation, assign the ship a face-down maneuver dial from its card. The ship then activates as normal.
Okay. So you're ionized.
Yeah.
You set a dial, put it on your card.
Yep.
Secretly.
So you can't.
Secretly. You secretly set your dial, put it on your card.
Do I shout Uno? If my opponent catches me, does he have to kick a can? I don't know.
And then, when it comes time to move, if I'm still ioned, if a fairy or some magical creature somehow removed the 3 ions from my large base ship, then I would go ta-da and flip my secret decoder ring and flip it up, and then I would move whatever I said.
I know. So we are poking fun just because they use the word secretly, but
it's fun.
It is. Oh my god, it's so much fun. So in all seriousness, the reason they wrote this in there is because, I mean, at least to my knowledge, there might be more. Derek Clivian. You might not know him because not a lot of people might run him. That's the A-Wing that came out in the recent pack for Phoenix Cell. His ability reads, after you acquire or spend a lock, you may remove 1 red token from yourself.
Okay.
Yeah, you see it now.
Yeah. So I will say this about Chris M's answer.
Go ahead.
Or this rules update. Very specific, very clear, very step-by-step.
Absolutely.
Well done. And I mean, even the text that the way they have this format, the lines are not too close together. It's easy to read. I'm very impressed with this so far.
Yeah. And so Chris M isn't actually per se writing these. The developers are. They're feeding him the information. He's allowed to post it to the forums, to give it to us, and then we react as normal and blow up everything.
Right.
Exactly. But for people who don't see the chain reaction, basically, let's say you have a coordinator, AP5. He moves. For some reason, you have your A-Wing, Derek. He's ionized. You then coordinate to him. He takes the target lock. He removes the ion token. This is all during the activation phase. Now Derek activates. Make sure you set his dial, or he's going to get stressed and do a 2 straight, which means he then doesn't get an action except for that nice target lock you passed him. This is probably going to answer questions down the road, because I'm sure more things like this are going to come up as the game develops and more cards and ships and abilities come out. So this is a nice catch by them, because, I mean, again, if you don't fly him and you've never flown against him and this has never occurred, you would never even know that this was a problem in the game. But apparently someone brought it to their attention and they noticed it immediately. So good on them.
And this is just chock full of this stuff. And what I noticed is so Chris is pretty heavy so far in the answers here.
Yep.
But I also see that AMG Plumber
Yes.
I love it. The plumber's here. Um, Even he's an administrator. He's in here. Luke from is an administrator.
Yep.
He's in here. You know, they are monitoring this, and I like the fact that they have people who are monitoring this.
It's
It
a
doesn't look like it's haphazard. It's like, oh look, we got a question. Let's answer it. Boom, here you go.
it's something new. Because I want to separate, because I mean we're going to be interviewing D Yoon soon about judging and all that, and then this came up and we're like, okay, well, we're going to have more to discuss, but this is definitely going to separate the moments to where the judges that we had are going to rule a certain way online, but it's nothing official until the official comes out. Till then, it's what the judges are going to rule when you go to a tournament, what people are actually interpreting as the rules, what's written, and then it's just mayhem. This at least gives us a direct contact with the developers. It is
Yeah.
official. We know it's official. So when anything is posted here, that's it. It's going to be happening. It supersedes the rules reference. We know that. This has never really been a thing before. This is why this is so exciting.
Yeah, yeah, and I mean, first glance, yeah, I like it. I like what's going on, and I also like the fact that here's the question, here's the answer, move along.
Yeah, it's
And
definitely going to be that way.
the thing that frightened me most when I heard forums was, is this going to be the all-out blitzkrieg of vile and spit and malice of, oh, I think this should happen and no, and then you've got 48,000 people talking about the same topic and all that.
Yeah.
I'm glad to see that this is not that. This
Yeah.
is not. This is not. Oh, I'm going to comment on your comment. This is answer to your question.
Yeah. So, and we'll go over how this all interacts later, because I mean, I'm going to go up to the top. I can't post in here. This is strictly for them to post. We can't, edit or do anything with it. It's strictly for them, and it's hard locked.
Right, and that is a good thing.
Absolutely. All right. Next thing, they're just adding these things. If two ships are range 0 of each other, they remain at range 0 until one of them moves or rotates in a way that results in their bases no longer being physical contact. So, for those people who are like, well, what happens if I turn my U-wing 90 degrees? And am I still, touching? Is it still range 0? This says until there's no longer physical contact. So if you rotate and they're not touching, so there you go. You get to now shoot.
Because it's obvious you were touching until you turned because you had to lift up the base.
Yeah, exactly. Well, so that was an excellent question, because when you had two ships together, I mean, you got these nice little nubs right here that are a pain in the butt. When a U-wing
Right.
crashes into another ship, it can still rotate 90, and there's space between there now. They're not physically connected. And people are saying, no, you rotated 90. Technically, you didn't move, so therefore, we're still 0 range. And it's like,
Right.
And this answers that question. Excellent. Don't need to wait for the rules update. This is another one. So, yeah, this one is device. Each ship cannot drop or launch a device and decloak during the same phase. It has to do one or the other.
I'm good with that.
Yeah, I mean, I believe it was the tugboat. You can take a stealth device and be dropping bombs with it. So people don't want you launching a bomb out the front, decloaking to the right.
Yeah.
Which it would be very funny to do, because it's a tugboat, of course. This is another one, and this was big for you. So if you want to read this one was the AMG plumber post about abilities.
Okay. So the question was, are optional abilities added to the ability queue automatically when they are triggered? Or does a player make their choice by adding the ability to the queue? Answer. Abilities are added to the ability queue automatically when they are triggered, as long as they meet the requirements to be added. Clear as mud so far. Players are not required to declare each ability as it enters the queue. However, if a player does not resolve an ability during the appropriate timing window, the opportunity to do so is lost. So now we are not the keepers of our brothers.
We're finally back to the way that it intentionally, well, I won't say intentionally, back to the way that was before this came out. Because when this came out,
Right.
it set it in stone like, hey, you forgot to take a focus with Sunter Fell during the engagement phase or at the start of the engagement phase. And then you would say, oh, well, I'm going to take that focus now. And it's like, no, that was a missed opportunity. It's like, no, sorry.
Right.
Me, should have reminded you to take that focus with Sunter Fell. So therefore,
Yeah.
we're both at fault. You still get your focus.
Yeah. No more.
Not
Goodbye.
anymore. You forgot it, forget it. It's gone.
Yep. The game is hard enough for me to play my own side without having to worry about you playing your side.
I mean, this is going to make the game a little bit more. I mean, back to I can't even relaxed. I want to say more relaxed because
Hopefully.
we used to
Hopefully.
play and it's something would be missed and I'm like, no, we got to wind it back. We forgot to do that, and you're like,
And
ugh.
right. And it's like no take backsies.
And it used to be
Just go forward.
well, no, I personally would get super stressed out because I'm looking at your cards, waiting for your triggers because I can't have you miss them because then I get penalized for it because that's the way that it was in the time. Now it's, oh, I wanted to drop a bomb. Sorry, you missed that opportunity.
It's
Let's
good
keep
to want.
let's keep moving because you didn't drop the bomb. I started flipping dials and performing maneuvers. You know exactly where I'm going. Sorry.
Yep.
Nothing
Yep.
I can do. All right.
So,
Go
you
ahead.
know, unfortunately, it took when I read it. The reason I said it was clear as mud, it wasn't clear to me. But when they get to that blue text in there where they're explaining, bang, then it makes perfectly good sense.
Clear as day. And that might have
Yep.
not been the way that they interpreted it, but again, we're not going to sit here and try to interpret them. This is why this is
No,
good. We now
no,
know
we don't have to interpret anything. They did.
not anymore. So lastly, and this one chapped a lot of people. Even though I don't think these abilities line up together, but if a ship is affected by Padme Amidala's pilot ability and it modifies one of its focus results, can Emperor Palpatine's ability be used to modify a second focus result? This says yes. The ship's equipped with Emperor Palpatine crew is modifying that ship's second focus result, not that ship itself. So that immediately now is triggering with the Imperials Emperor Palpatine saying he can now modify Vader's defense dice.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
they even answer that, which I mean, we're going to go into those quickly because that's it for the rules reference for now. There is a post that somebody asked. It's like, okay, well, I saw that thing about Padme. What about Darth Vader's ability? And we'll try to go to it here because, I mean, as you can tell, there's already a bunch of people posting questions here. I'll try to
Oh
find.
yeah.
There it is. Vader tie D wording.
Now,
So
now, just to let everybody know, we're not going to go through every question.
no,
that people
definitely
can
not.
answer here, okay.
Yeah, go through it
Um,
yourself. Look through questions that you might want the answers to.
and I highly recommend that because you know if I, who is out of the two of us here on this channel right now, the more technologically de-evolved person that there is, if I can use this, anybody can use this.
It is Padre approved. All right, so
Yeah.
this member, Ficaroja, I think that is
He
Ficaroja.
was still in the rules reference.
No, so this is now under the questions. It's where someone can post their own question because he saw it too. He goes, on the fact post, the team mentions that Vader tie D are allowed to use Palpatine's force and defense. Vader's card says you cannot use force except while attacking. It not specified his force. So force is general and are not allowed on the notification due to the card wording. That's the final decision of the dev team, or Vader card needs to include the correction card documents. So this is from Luke. Again, you don't get any higher. Hello, on all X-Wing cards, U refers to the ship with that card text. You cannot spend force except while attacking. You means Vader. Thus, Vader cannot spend force except while attacking. Thus, this does not restrict Emperor Palpatine from spending the force while Vader is defending. So, Vader crew, you can help out Vader, your little baby Padawan there, and
Yes.
get him some help on defense. Even though he's already going to have that focus and evade, he still has
Right.
one floating force.
Yep.
So I asked on the the Facebook page, I was asking, hey, what do you guys think? Do you want the Palpmobile? Do you want the Reaper or the Desi? Because, I mean, that's what Palpatine can fit in. Vader is 115 points still. He's not hyperspace legal. So your choices with Vader Defender are still very limited. But I think everyone voted on the Reaper, surprisingly. I thought the Palp Shuttle would, like, hands down win. But
You would think it would.
I thought that,
I mean, I don't see the Reaper.
apparently people like the Reaper now. I mean, what are you going to do?
But what the hell do I know?
I don't either. I don't fly it, but I'm definitely going to try it. I so want to
Let's put him in
try
a
it.
K-wing.
Let's put him in a K-wing. I mean, Vader did fly like almost every ship ever. Or not Vader, Anakin, and then when he moved to the Imperials.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd love Vader in a TIE fighter. That'd be fun. Why not?
But Anakin was always in a twin ion jet.
True. Always the twin ions.
He wasn't in, anything rebel.
No. he skipped the X-Wing, although, again, would still be fun.
I just wonder what kind of pilot in an X-Wing he would be.
Yep. So the other thing that we're going to quickly check, frequently asked questions.
Yeah, the FAQ, which is always fun and exciting for everybody.
Exactly. And this goes through a bunch of stuff. Another one that they answered, which is funny. I didn't think this was a thing, but apparently the way that Chopper is worded is, if you are stressed, you may take an action. Although, as if you were not stressed. Let me just pull them up real quick.
Does Chopper Crew allow me to take a free action?
Yeah, so during the perform action step, you may perform one action, even while stressed. So, I mean, that kind of
answer was surprising.
No.
No. Chopper Crew does not grant an additional actions.
Yeah.
He simply permits you to perform your standard perform action step action, even while stressed. So if it's on your card, that's what you can do. So if it's target lock, focus, evade, whatever's on your card, that's the action you get to perform. That's all he allows you to do.
I was just very confused that people were actually thinking that you could do an extra action with him, but teach their own. This answers it.
Right.
No, you get one action with him during his normal action step. While performing attacks with Crassus and the fire spray, triggering outmaneuver. No, outmaneuvers the forward arc. So, I mean, go through all of these. There's a lot to go through. I mean, as you can tell, there's already pages and pages and pages that Chris has posted, and also Luke. There's ones that have already been posted that are in the rules reference guide, but they just went through a ton more as well. So go through each one, because, here's the latest one about assigning, transferring, gaining, acquiring, and so on, now because that we have Hera and the way that she works. So even though these are very broad terms, they give you a nice definition of what they are during those steps. Last but not least, which I want to grab real quick, is the errata cards. This is cool. So this thread contains errata to existing X-Wing cards that have not been added to the rules reference or errata reference. These corrections replace the text of the existing cards and are considered accurate, and overrides all other printings and will be deleted whenever the rules reference and errata reference are updated. And it has a link to the PDF. So
yes. Now think about that. You're going to get the fixed card. You just have to print it up yourself. So, slide it into your plastic sleeve, go forth and sin no more.
I mean, how brilliant is that?
Here, wait. Golf clap.
I mean, so I'm going to go to the page here.
Absolutely stinking brilliant. Absolutely stinking brilliant.
Yeah.
Hey, we errated the card. The text has changed. Try and remember it.
I don't.
Oh, here, print up a card.
I'm trying to. I can't click on it in here because this is its own little thing in OBS. But I'll click on it here. And so yeah, there were pictures of the actual cards that you can print out. It's awesome because exactly like Robert said, print it out, cut it, slide it over your existing one. That way when someone needs to see the actual card, you'll have it. I know you're going to say that's so much ink. Why would I have to print it? Why doesn't they print out the card? This is just one of those things, it'll just make things easier if you want to. You don't have to. You can just
You don't have
literally
to.
ask a judge or, anything of that nature.
Yeah, but if you want to do it, do it. At least they are providing it for you. So if you're going to be that idiot that's like, oh, you got to have me ink, shut up.
That was a good impression. I like that. It was very accurate.
Well, you know what? I refuse to be meek and mild any longer in X-Wing. If you're an idiot, darn it, you're an idiot. Just accept it and move on.
Yeah, at the support rules at the bottom of the page. Let me click on that because now that link is not working. Support link at the bottom of the page. Oh, support rules. Oh, interesting. Let me go down here and do it. Support rules? I don't know. I was able to get to it before. They're there. I definitely saw them. But
there we go. Support rules. Click.
Yeah, we'll go over Gleb.
Rules reference, start battles reference, rulebook, alpha.
Because these are live updates. I love this one. Protectorate Gleb, because people were wondering how, after you coordinate, you may transfer. So I can if I coordinate to a friendly or an enemy ship, I can use his ability. Nope, they locked it down. Now it reads, after you coordinate a friendly ship, you may transfer one orange or red token to the ship you've coordinated. So no trying to use, not Onaka, Jesus. I can't even remember his name. He's like one of the most famous characters now in the freaking game. This is going to bother me. Hondo Onaka, thank you.
Hondo Onaka!
Hondo Onaka. So yeah, you can't use Hondo to coordinate to
that's right, my friend,
and transfer an orange to that, or an orange or red token to that ship. Doesn't work like that anymore. Right. Malorus. This is, you know what? They probably did this because of Ahsoka, or not Ahsoka, Hera. Now this one reads, while a friendly ship range 0 to 2 performs a primary attack before the modified dice step, so it tells you when it can happen. If it has one or more blank results, that ship may gain one strain token to reroll one blank result if able. Because I'm sure people were confused on when you were able to do this ability. Because, yeah, when a friendly ship at range 0 to 2 performs a primary attack, if it has one or more blank results, and they're probably saying, oh, you know what? Let me modify my dice real quick so I don't have to do this. And then it's like, oh, no, how can you do that? It's like, well, because it just tells me whenever it's performing an attack, which means I get to choose when it happens. Nope. Now it's before you modify your dice, so you can't re-roll them and then and then ignore his ability. You have to use his ability. Then you can modify your dice if you're able to. So I like it.
Yeah.
And here we go. More. I like this because this was a fix that
we were going to do everything.
Well, no, these are actually good rules that we need to read aloud. This is the last we're going to do because, I mean, these are cards that people have been debating, and now this is an exact answer. Like our Liz. It should read, while you defend, if you are damaged, before you modify your dice, you must change one of your focus results to a blank result. So you can't spend your focus, modify your dice, and then apply her ability. It doesn't work like that anymore. You have to do it before you modify your dice. So, I mean, you can change one of your focus results to a blank, or you must do that anyways, but after that, you can then modify your dice.
It's amazing what happens to these cards when you add the simple term before and then define it.
This was such an interesting release of cards that they did because, as you can see, Hera, they added during the modified dice step. Our Liz, before the modified dice.
Malorus,
before. and then this one a friendly ship. So clearly there was a moment to where FFG, just forgot, like, we need to make sure that we have a precise moment to when these abilities trigger, because leaving that option to the player is going to cause issues down the line. It just will. You're not supposed to let a player decide when things trigger.
And there's only 3 words that really have any impact on the game, and that's before, during, and after. If you insert those words into a sentence, it clarifies so much.
Exactly.
Why was it so difficult to do in the first place? No, we had to write 3 paragraphs.
Yep. So it's and actually, I just started watching Loki. Amazing show, by the way. It reminds me of that. And trust me, this doesn't give away the show. But I mean, there is a timeline. There are moments to where, just like in Endgame, to where they're talking about the timeline might split. This will keep the game from branching out too quickly, basically, because you don't want Hera to have an ability to trigger at any point in the day. You don't want, to write an ability with our Liz and just make it null and void. You definitely don't want, Malorus to not have to suffer the penalty for having to be able to re-roll a die or not. So it's good. They're reining it in. They're tightening up their rules again, and things are going to go back to, a steady incline of power creep. So we're all going to be happy. So
Yeah, everybody will be thrilled.
exactly,
It'll be good.
we're on the normal curve for power creep. We're not accelerating
And
past.
keep in mind, so that was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cards that they are added.
Yeah,
So they didn't go hog wild and go to everything, but I think what they're doing is pretty good.
it's perfect. So yeah, there's the official card errata. Welcome to the Star Wars rules forums. You can go through there. And again, you can start going through all of the other posts that they do. The other thing I will mention, so when you prompt a question, they're going to have one of the admins answer it. So right there, you see Chris M. He answers this immediately. And then you'll notice this topic is now closed to further replies. So
Yeah.
it's not going to be to where all of a sudden it's going to be a 300 page or 300 comment thread. It's going to be, how does this trigger? It triggers like that. And end it.
Done.
They don't want someone to retort and have it drag on.
We don't need your help. We're done.
Exactly. So Chris answers it. He closes it. I'm almost certain that the person that posted the question has an opportunity to, reopen it and ask for a follow-up question and so on, or, to thank them and close it out again. But
Right.
that's it. Yeah,
Yeah,
now,
I did
locked.
notice that right off the get-go. I mean, it's just like, boom, we're done here.
Yeah, so Chris locks it. Anyone who comes into the forums is going to see that question, see his answer, and you can always search for it when you get here. I mean, you can click in the search. Let's even try it. I mean, we'll type in Vader and see what we get. 22 results. Look at that. Vader tie D wording comes right up immediately. You're going to be able to find your ruling or even look for something like frequently asked questions. There's another tie D wording.
Yep.
It's going to be really good. I like this.
Vader seems to be very popular at the dance.
Vader is definitely popular at the dance. So yeah, already people are, prompting their questions. The assigned judges, because again, they're not technically AMG employees. They are appointed forum admin. Or well, actually, what does it say for D? Because I just want to look. He's a moderator. He is a
He's
mod.
a moderator.
But he is following the path of what the admins and the developers have set. He's in constant communicado with them. And also, it's kind of easy to just copy and paste most of the rules from the rulebook into someone asking a question.
And what I'm seeing here, though, is I because of all of the AMG interaction where they are actually monitoring things, actual staff of AMG.
Yeah.
If for some reason they did not agree with something that somebody underneath them said, I would have a feeling they would say, no, this is how it is.
Yeah, it could possibly be to where maybe D is overwritten, or D will check with them before answering a question. But
Oh, even Chris,
yeah, oh,
you
absolutely.
know, whoever, but I do like the fact that AMG is watching.
The ever watchful eye
They're
over us.
watching you.
Oh man. All right, we're gonna wrap that up for now. Honestly, super excited. I'm more than happy with how AMG is handling the rules so far. Not because they are basically changing the rules as everything that I've ever said, um, and also Robert, but it's basically what we've always wanted from Fantasy Flight games and didn't ever
And
really get.
didn't get. So A+
Yeah, A
on
plus.
this app. A+
Um,
for Atomic Mass Games.
yeah, we've said it
Keep it
all.
up.
Keep it.
Don't
Oh,
screw it
please,
up.
yes, absolutely.
Keep it
Please
up.
keep this up.
Because if you don't, you're going to hear it.
Well, you know when we're gonna post.
Yeah, you know. But and if you're thinking about starting a forum for everybody to just jump on and complain about stuff, don't let it. Keep that in Reddit that I don't read.
Oh, there was one more thing that I wanted to make. Basically, it was what you should definitely please read the rules. I know I said that already, but there is one thing I will say about it. Where are you? I won't look for it, but it's basically saying don't mess around on this forum. If you
Yeah,
start to be a salty mother trucker,
yeah.
they'll just
Don't
kick
get.
you out of the forum. Go ahead, create another account. They'll just kick you out again. They're not going
Yep.
to accept nonsense. They're
Don't
not.
be that guy.
Well, yeah, definitely
You
just
know.
don't be that guy.
You're going to edit this, right? This isn't live, right?
No, I'm never editing this. This is gold. I'm keeping it just the way it is this time.
Okay. So here's the rule. Don't be a.
All right, so that's it for today. Nice short video for you guys. Go take a look at the forums, read up on it. Catch up on your rules, look at any questions that you might have had, or even just search for it, and you're going to find it. If not, start your own thread and ask the devs or the head judges themselves. All right.
Yep.
Thank you so much, Roger, for coming in. I know it's early on a Sunday morning. Thank you for my wife for not starting the laundry, so that way
Friday.
we didn't have. What is today?
Friday.
It's Friday. Sorry, I just got off work like 10 minutes ago, so I don't know what day it is. But other than that, thank you guys. Continue to watch. Hit us up. Send us an email because we love hearing from you. Let us know how we're doing, or if you want us to test out a list, a scenario, what have you. Give us a shout out. We'll definitely respond back. We're always available. All right. All set.
See ya.
Later.